Jill, it's Monday again.
It is Monday again, Mr. William. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a great and wonderful weekend. And welcome back to Mindful Nuggets, where William and we lead you in stewardship. So, today we are going to be talking about why plant a tree when you could build an orchard. This is going to be a great conversation, everyone. So stick with us here. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. And we have a special guest for you tonight. So, Mr. William, I'm going to go ahead and kick us off, and I'm going to let you talk about our special guest. So, welcome back to Mindful Nuggets, where we bring awareness that awakens us to God's design already woven throughout creation. We explore the relationships, the principles, the systems beneath everyday leadership, work, stewardship, and life so we can recognize what is operating, discern where alignment may have been lost, and faithfully steward what the Father has entrusted to us. If you lead people, build businesses, carry responsibility, make decisions, or simply want to become more faithful in how you live and work, pull up a chair. There's room at the table for you. So, tonight, the question is, why plant a tree when you can build an orchard? Mr. William, why would
That's
you
really
plant
a
a
great
tree?
question, isn't
Right?
it? Well, let's talk about this wonderful lady that's joining us tonight. I don't really talk about the accolades of people. They they find out themselves when they start speaking, but I like to talk about the person more because it means more in the relationship that can come from these things. And Tess, um, I met Tess Booker and through Lunch with Lynn, in which I encourage you, if you're not with Lunch with Lynn, please join. You can find her, I believe we're at Facebook, Michelle. It's where you can do.
Yep,
Okay.
you can find
Yeah.
Lynn Lionhood, the Lioness, on Facebook.
All right. And I met her, and she is a person that helps discover what's underneath that's holding you back and bring it up into the light where we can find those things and experience ways that you can deal with those and bring them out of your life so you can walk freely and start walking in a life that you're meant to walk and not being held back in life. And a lot of times we don't even know we're harboring those things down. And Tess really works great with the nervous system in finding these out. She's not a teacher, but she is a leader. She is grounded in God, and she can help you walk a walk a path that's going to bring fruit in your life. And I encourage you to go look her up. Tess, where can they find you?
tessbooker.com. Easy, right?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so you will find many ways to experience my work and you'll be able to just catch me there. So I encourage you to come and find me there if anything here resonates, because it is conversation, right? It is
mhm.
what are we talking about? Is it relevant? All those things that when you get in here and you start listening, you'll know who and what and get into your alignments of what resonates. But thank you for letting me be here, you guys.
Oh,
We're excited to have you,
absolutely.
Tess.
But
And thank
before
you.
we kick it off, I want you to give us a little insight. Can you give our viewers some insight as to who Tess Booker is and what she does and why does she do what she does before we get into tonight's question?
Well, yeah, we kind of started out, where do you find me? Well, now, what do you want to know about me? Well,
Right.
I reside in San Diego. I am an empty nester, married 30 years, and just a lot of the last 4 years has me been, stepping into this space as evolving, right? I've been in business many, many years, and I've done a lot of raising businesses and falling businesses and restarting again and all of the entrepreneurial carousel things that happen in business. And I really had no idea until the last couple years that it wasn't about what I was capable or what I thought I could do or not do. It was about me finding out who I was and letting go of who I wasn't. And so it's been an identity, but sometimes I think we do the work around identity and we change our thoughts, we change our beliefs, we meditate, we do all these things to create the space to care for ourselves or not care for ourselves, whatever that looks like. And come to find out in these last 2 years, I had no idea the unseen weight that I was carrying in my body. Now, what do I mean by that, right? Unseen weight. What is that? Leaders carry unseen guilt, shame, fear, anxiety. We carry false responsibilities. We carry other people's emotions. We carry other people's baggage. And when that gets unchecked, like you said, William, we can't do anything with something we don't check. Right. And so it's
Absolutely.
evaluating just like you would your numbers in your business, or find out where you could get better, or where you could get, your emotions and your capacity to lead people, lead others, and lead yourself is directly related to your nervous system.
Yes, it is.
And I think there's a lot of knowledge coming out about this. I'm super excited to be with people in the conscious awareness space. These are buzzwords. What does it mean to deal with your nervous system? Not everybody understands that, but I think it's becoming more and more accessible. And so thank you for just letting me talk about this a little bit with you guys.
This is why I
Absolutely. We're grateful
resonate.
you're here.
Why I resonate with Tess so much, because really we're coming down to the roots, and this is what we're talking about a little bit about why build, why grow a tree and build an orchard, because it ties into your identity, and a lot of times the world teaches you who your identity is before you find out who you truly are, and we go through this walk of life under that pretense, and it's something that you're carrying that you shouldn't have been carrying in the first place. It was a burden that didn't belong to you. And I've learned that as well, going through my experience over the past few years, understanding it's okay to be who I am, but a lot of times you don't know who you are to begin with. And it takes some digging. It takes getting down to the root, healing the roots to get you back to where you can just be you and not be in somebody else's desire of performance, what they view you as. And it's okay to be like that. And it is great work. It really is. And Tess, when I met her, it's almost like we aligned immediately. We could talk the language, but more so, it was like, this is where people need to get to grassroots, just strip it all down and get back to who are you? Whose are you to begin with? And then we can take it from there. We can walk with you. So we're going to be talking about why plant a tree, build an orchard. Well, that sounds great on the surface. And it sounds like multiplication. It sounds like scale. It sounds like bigger, more. Sounds like success, doesn't it? If I can start with a tree, I can build a big business, or I can build something important in my life to a very grand scale if I just start taking these steps. But that's not really where we're going with this. That's pretty much what the world picture teaches you, that if you start with this tree or this one thing, and I keep building, I keep pushing, I keep working myself to death, I keep performing, I keep cranking the numbers, I grind. Eventually, I'm going to have this wonderful orchard that's going to produce everything, and I won't have to work as hard, and I won't be successful. Well, a lot of times that's a big farce. And a lot of times we sacrifice ourselves, we sacrifice the ones that we love, and it also creates a lot of disturbance in our own system, because that's a load that we weren't supposed to carry in the first place. We manufactured it. So there's an old apple tree. Now I want to tell a story real quick. That's kind of important, because it is at our cabin. The cabin we have, it's been built back in 1865, 64, something. It's towards the end of the Civil War. And there's a lot of generations that went through that cabin and still intact today. And as the family, we cherish that cabin. It's a small cabin. It's nothing special other than it provided a place to live, a place for people to exist, a family to be around, a field to play in. Well, there's an old apple tree that I used to climb up in that thing a lot, and I'd pick apples. And I just like climbing trees anyway, enjoyed being in it. But as time went along, I never thought so much about the tree until just recently. Now, I went back to the cabin just about a month ago, and the tree is all but gone. It's got one little leg that's coming out, a few little branches. There's no apple. But what was there was very important. That's what's significant to me. Outside of being able to enjoy the apples, it provided meals for the family. We had wonderful apple pie. We made homemade ice cream. We put it on hot apple pie, and that was like a major treat for us. Or we just make applesauce, or we do whatever we can with apples. But it provided for a family, not just for a family. It provided for about 6 generations, 5 to 6 generations. That's how old that tree was. But as it gave way in its death, something miraculous happened. There was a little apple tree growing in the trunk where it rotted away. There was a seed carried. It was provision for what was once a beautiful thing that provided, that had to pass away, but it left a legacy behind, another apple tree. And I'm seriously thinking, well, if that tree's there, why don't I cultivate that and plant that in the ground? Because the next couple of generations after me may get to experience something that I enjoyed as a youth. But it's up to me to be the steward to do that. Sometimes before we think we want to build an orchard, we should also focus on tending to what we have at the moment. And it may be just that one little apple tree. And maybe that's the apple tree we get. It may not be an orchard because we don't control what's in the seed. We can only do what's entrusted to us, and that's to take care of the dirt. It's not our dirt. Seed's not ours. We put it into the dirt. Now it is up to us to water it, provide nutrition to it, tend to it, protect it, and guard it. But none of it's ours to begin with. So it isn't merely just provision for today. You may be enjoying some fruit of your business. The fruit carries seed for tomorrow. And that apple tree for me was a reflection of my leadership, the business that I've been building. I built before, many businesses actually, the marriage, how you parent, mentoring, relationships, your calling, and leaving a legacy behind after you're gone. None of this is about us. We're just doing what we're entrusted with. And I think this is where we miss the point most of our lives. So I'm going to open the floor and let Michelle, Tess, and if y'all like to comment on that. But that's kind of where we're going here.
I want to open up with unpacking that conversation a little bit. And I know Tess is going to chime right on in with this. So
yeah, well, that's the whole, this is the fun part.
Let's talk about the control part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was an identity first that came to that tree. You identified a certain way with that tree.
At the time. That's right.
At that time. But then you also came along and you mentioned the word control. You couldn't control how that was cultivated, or we had no control either with how that seed was going to grow or not grow.
We were in control of the fruit to begin with the tree that had been grown before. Yeah, I even came to this plant.
But when we're in business, we tend to not see all that you just unfolded there with what you saw. And it's taken many businesses along the pathway for you to finally sit down and reflect upon that tree, what it really impacted in your life, the control that you navigated throughout the entire process of you and the businesses that you have had and still do and all the above. There's a control factor there that you still have a hard time unloading sometimes.
All of us do, and
we do. I'm just as guilty, and I'm sure Tess, chime in, Tess.
Well, think about it this way. Do you control the output of everything? When we're trying to go in business, right? Okay, we go into business, or we build a relationship. We want to exert our will, and we associate asserting our will with control. But the thing that we don't understand is when we're trying to control something that didn't belong to us, we're not going to get the results anyway that we'd hope for to begin with. What we get is frustration, because this is going back into my business years. All the time I invested into the business, into things that we're building, I had a goal, had a purpose, had a direction. I was on a mission, and I was going to have an outcome. But what it created was great resistance, frustration, irritation, and lack of fruit. Now I
And
kept asking,
where did that land? Where did that
well,
actually
it
land
landed
in the
me in
years?
on my
And
deathbed, basically from that, because I gave up, and it is associated with my self value.
hmm So
Well,
Tess,
everything I did would not work or cultivate or build.
okay,
I mean,
but Tess can chime in here as to what all
yeah,
of that does to the root system of the body, sitting in there and being that controller that I'm a controller. You know that. We've talked about this.
okay. Well, the point
And
is,
so
we
the
want
point
peace in our life,
we
right?
do want peace, but we don't have peace for many, many reasons. Whatever those reasons may be, there's
Many
many reasons why.
seasons,
Because we're
many
not going
seasons
back to the
too.
root. And our regulation of our system is out of sync. We have more nervous system issues today than we have had in many past, or maybe Tess can clarify the recognition
I
of
think it's
that.
accelerated
Right.
actually,
But
and
I
Tess
do
can
believe it's
testify.
accelerated.
So,
We more and more people want that control on the daily, and it is costing us our health, and it's costing us our wealth.
yeah, our exact buddy. Tess, jump in here.
I probably will challenge both of you guys with my ideas and my perspective because I too was one that had the orange in my hand. It was nice and beautiful, and I squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze until there's nothing left coming out of my hands. And who's in control?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Right.
What control do you have when your hands are closed to nothing? You're receiving nothing, you're giving nothing.
You're
When you
shutting the flow.
don't, when you have the orange in your hand and you freely let it be the orange and you let it be what it needs to be and you let anything flow around that orange, around whatever it is that you're stewarding, while the orange stays open, you're free, you'll never lose what you have because you already have. We do this. Okay, so this really, I'm really going to challenge this because I've been in the religious spaces really asking these questions because so many people are completely disconnected from themselves.
They
They're not
are.
Mhm.
disconnected from God. They're
No.
disconnected from themselves in God. Many
Very good.
Christians can relate to one part of the Trinity and not relate to the other parts of the Trinity. And you've got three disconnected things, just like our body, our mind, and our spirit are disconnected because we're not attached to the vine.
Correct.
Very true.
So we say, okay, so I got a couple things just kind of stewing in my brain. The
Go
serenity
ahead.
prayer, right? Serenity prayer.
Right.
We are quick to say, Lord, I really have these things. Help me to know the difference of whether it's good or whether it's bad, and help me know the difference. What's the difference mean?
Hmm. That's a great question for that process
Right?
out
Why do we
there.
need to know
Right.
the difference? We don't need to know the difference. We need to know who we
We
are.
want to know the difference.
But
Want.
if you knew the difference, what are you going to do with I have and I want and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have? Which is it? What is it? What do you have and what do you don't have? Because I'm pretty sure we all have time. We all have money. We all have provision. It's just you're not okay with how much you have or how much you don't have.
Great point.
And
Great
we want to
point.
know the difference. Well, there is no difference between have and don't have. Do you want to choose between have and don't have? I don't. There's no in between having and not having, and that is the nervous system telling you you don't have it when you do. And if you don't address the nervous system, you do not, or I don't say you do not. I'm not going to say that because that's a big judgment. It is very difficult or not easy to access kindness, joy, faith, trust, empathy, all those fruits that we all are after in the tree that we're building. So if we want to wrap back to this, I will challenge the idea you guys talked about. Okay, you have a seed. You plant the seed, it grows. Well, what if you are the seed?
That's
You
the
are the
point.
seed in the
You are
whole
the
point.
seed.
Mhm.
That's the
So when
point. You
you
are the
are the
seed.
seed, you don't have to worry about nothing but allowing the pruning,
Right.
allowing people to come in, allowing the seasons, allowing the process of growing, the process of becoming, the process of just multiplying. But if you are so worried about the thousands of trees around you that you want to build, you'll never build your own. You are not fruitful if you do not prune your own life, your own
Mhm.
capacities, what you need and want. And guess what? A tree doesn't worry about if it's provided for. It has water, it has sun, it has probably gardeners, it's not sitting around worrying about whether they're going to be fruitful or not.
Nope. And it grows any which way it desires to grow. If there's a
And it
sprout
will
that's not
grow,
exactly, it'll grow
like
anywhere it wants
William
to grow.
said, it will grow out of those branches without being watered,
That's right.
without somebody coming and doing it, because the earth is meant to multiply and we are too.
That's right. That's right.
The biggest problem is we're too busy being a branch that's trying to be a branch in the tree trunk
Well,
and the
we're not
fruit.
understanding you are the seed, you are the branch, you are
Mhm.
the leaves, you are the growth, you are the fruit. Like you are part of it all. And that's weird to think that you mean I'm the seed? You mean I can be full of myself? You mean I can stand as a tree that's fruitful? Oh, and you mean I'm going to do that and be an example to the world, and more trees are going to come out of me?
Mm-hmm.
That's humbling. It is also cannot be accessed if you are in fear, shame, guilt, frustration, anger. If you are trying to avoid all the things that are given to you, you're also shutting out the good things.
100%. Wow. All right. Well, Tess has brought us to half of the hour into this conversation, and it's going deeper. We're not done yet. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right there with us so that the next time we're live next Monday, you'll be notified. But Tess, you do bring up some very valid points. We live in a world today where everyone's trying to control the situations. We're not understanding that we are the seed, which you just so clearly pointed out to. We are it. We are that tree trunk, right? We're the one that sprouted big and tall, and we're so worried. That word, worry. We live in fear. We live in scarcity. We put the mask on. We're one way out, we're another way in, and we are cutting off the branch.
We're stressing the root system to death. They're
Well, we
killing the
have to
tree.
prune, right? We have to let
Mhm.
go of the things that are not being fruitful anymore. And that's like there's scripture all over, cut your hand off if it's not being fruitful, whatever it is. I mean, physically, we're not cutting pieces of us, but energetically, emotionally, it's
You know?
baggage, it's unseen weight that
Mhm.
is dragging down your fruit, your kindness, your empathy, your compassion, your
A lot,
abilities,
yeah. A lot
right?
of times on a tree that grows, I learned recently, I was talking to Melanie, my wife, coming back home from our trip, a tree will develop suckers that the lower branches are draining it.
Good point.
And
That is true.
okay, and then when you're doing that, that's drawing energy away from the fruit that's meant to happen.
And that's what we get to steward
Mm-hmm.
if you can be in awareness of how important you are and how full you need to be, you will pay attention to what's sucking the energy.
Well, it's
Hmm.
But
very
how do you
important.
do that out of unawareness? That's the question.
That's the exact question, because what that looks like on the outside, looking at the tree, it looks normal because it's part of the tree.
Exactly.
But you can't discern that it's costing you to allow that to keep growing.
And it's slow fade,
Mm-hmm.
right? Over
Yeah.
time, it's diseased, and then you're wondering why, right? Or you're wondering, how did I get here? And it's maybe you didn't even know that that was sucking your energy.
Yeah, exactly. And the other problem is if when you come to fruit and you don't know how to prune, the fruit can overbear the tree. So if you do have a business that's growing into an orchard very quickly, or your tree, your seed have grown too fast, the system's not ready to support that. And it cause you to break. And that's another reason we don't go, these things are not really in our control, but we need to recognize where we are in that system and what's going on with the system. And you can't do that, like Tess said, until you become aware of your own system that's going on in you.
Well, and I think we're taught let it go, let it go. So we're learning that we need to prune. People are figuring out, well, we need to let it go. Well, what I've found in my practice is the person sitting in front of me and I'm asking them to let go of something they've had as an identity for their whole life, and I'm saying let it go. Do you know what that does to the nervous system that says, if I let this go, I'm no longer safe?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's
It wants to
And
exactly
so,
what
protect
no,
that
it's
says.
very difficult to let go of something that you feel is fruitful. You feel like you need it. You feel like you're safe having whatever that is. Even guilt and shame and frustration, those all can be identity. Like
Oh, they are
Absolutely.
identity. They are
right?
identity because you're living in your
Or
story
being
at that
sick,
point. Right.
right?
But you're living in that story. You're choosing to live in that story at this point in time.
Absolutely.
So you have an
Absolutely.
opportunity to let it go and choose a new identity, your authentic identity at this point, being who you really are and stepping forward. You know, that tree prunes, by the way. Trees do prune themselves.
This
They
is
do
true.
let those
Yes.
branches die off,
They fall off.
and the
Or
wind
burns
blows
or
them right
fire.
off.
The elements will take care of it a lot of
Right.
the times, right?
Exactly. So why would you not do the same?
Because it's scary to let go of things. And I think for me, I didn't know what it was costing me.
Many don't.
That's the
Many
Mm-mm.
true
do not
factor right
see.
there. If you actually knew the true cost of what's happening,
You would let it go.
you would let
And you
go.
Absolutely.
wouldn't, it wouldn't be, that's where what is it? The gain to lose and let it be a loss. It's okay, right? It's that being okay with loss or gain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if,
Well,
if you don't know the cost, then it's really difficult to let go.
it is. It's what you're carrying in the past that's affected you today. And you only have today, you only have the moment that you're in on it. And if we look future, a lot of times we're hoping for a better future. We all think we don't have a better future or get to that, but we may not. And the problem is that we're carrying the past into the future in the present, and it does not bode us well, and it costs us the fruit that's to be until we identify what that we have blind spots. We don't know we're even carrying it.
Well, and you, like you said, it's in the moments, it's in the minutes. I don't have tomorrow. I don't have necessary. I have
No,
today. I have this moment. We get off this call. I'm not assured that I'm going to be where I
no,
am
we're
supposed
not.
to be,
That
right?
was a big
And
wake up call. I almost didn't have this. I wouldn't have been here
right.
if it wasn't for God's choice. And that's still his choice too. We don't know we're going to get called. But
And let's
right
talk
now,
about
he has a
that for a
moment.
minute because you, as well as I, both of us have, been reborn into God giving us another opportunity at life. Okay. So our seed has been revived. We have now been moving and growing our tree and moving forward in that direction. But there was a cause. At no point in time did I see, because I was in that story. I had to feed three children. I didn't have anyone else there to support me. I had to have a roof over their head. I had to have food on the table. I had this in my head consistently. Many people do. They're listening to us tonight. You did too. And we
Yeah,
try to
become.
control everything. And when we do, we don't see what's sucking the life out of us or what's taking away from our tree, the water, the nutrients. The branches are just going on, and the phalanges are still continuing to grow, right? But the bottom line is that you've got all these little different ones, just like fish, that peck on the whales, and so forth. They're just all
A
away.
lot of this is droned into us earlier on, and we get the cart before the
100%.
horse. We're taught to perform before we're taught to have a real relationship. We have an expectation to go out and perform, do things that the world expects. You do go get the job, go buy a house, go do all these different things, put food on the table, like you said.
And
But
then we fall.
okay, well, and Tess was talking about the orange. Anything you hold, you squeeze to death, it's not going to go right between your fingers. It's going to be gone. You had nothing.
And I'm a perfect example of that.
Okay, well, even
I
so,
squeezed it until it couldn't possibly get another drop out of it.
but I
And
couldn't
so he
open
took
it.
it.
Right, but I couldn't open my other hand and receive another orange
Right. Right.
either, because it's closed. The fact is, we never start with building a relationship, and if we can't build a relationship, we'll never know who we truly are.
Wow.
And control is always inversely proportionate to trust, and we're taught not to trust. You definitely trust God. Even if we say to trust God, most of us don't.
So can I speak into a little bit about what the body does and where this
Please.
control
Absolutely.
comes from and
Absolutely.
how you can, there's evidence in the body?
Absolutely.
When we are babies, when you're born, a baby does not breathe like an adult.
No.
They don't have the same rhythm. They don't have the worries. They don't have the things. They're breathing on their own. They are fully surrendered to whoever is taking care of them. And there's just, we all know you see a baby and there's just pure love.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a child grows and as a child is developing their body and figuring out what the body is and adapting to the parents and adapting to the situations, we start to develop fear.
That's right.
And control is all about safety.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I take somebody through, okay, your breath, if you were to take a breath right now, where does it land? Is it in your belly? Is it in your chest? Where do you feel that in your body with just a simple breath?
Right now, the chest.
How about you, Michelle?
For me, it's in my belly. I mean, I've always been a belly breather because of my opera for singing opera. So I was just
Absolutely.
learned. That's a
This is a
learning.
great example, right?
Mhm.
It's a great example because we breathe through both. We breathe through the
We
chest,
do.
we breathe through the
Yeah.
belly. If they're both normal, depending on the state you're in,
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
right? Or what you're trying to project. I apologize, my husband's in the background.
It's okay. We're good. That's
I
real
don't know.
life.
Sorry about that. So, and then I get distracted. But I love this. We got one who's a chest breather. We got one who's a belly breather. That's amazing, right? But babies have a rhythm. They breathe through the belly, they breathe through the chest, and it comes out. The older we get, the more circumstances and experiences we have, we start to breathe through our chest into our belly. It's completely backwards breathing. There's no access to your nervous system when you're breathing in a rhythm that's going against the flow because there's fear and anxiety and guilt and shame attached to the body, even as a child. So that's, Michelle, is what stays stuck in the body over time. And one day you look up and you've squeezed the whole orange because you haven't been safe for years. Years and years and years of being programmed that you're not safe, you're not going to get what you need, you don't have what you need, you need to go get what you need, you better get it done, you better do it this way, you're enough, you're not enough. That.
Yeah. That's
So,
exactly what it was like. I mean, that is exactly what it was like.
and
The
that's the
constant.
programming William's talking about, right? We pick up all these things, and eventually, if we're slow fade, that tree that we are is not fruitful anymore because we have blocked
We're
out
killing the tree.
the nutrients.
We're killing the tree.
We're killing
We don't even know.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
And not on purpose, not intentionally. We're human, But we don't understand the divinity that we are being a seed.
That's why we're here tonight, is to bring that awareness to the respect of you being that seed, you being that tree, that daily grind that you have going on. And I mean grind, not going to work grind. I'm talking about the grind in this mind all day long. I have to do this, I have to do that. No, you get to do these things and you get to choose whether you sit in a scarcity mindset or whether you sit in a leadership and taking charge and taking action. So as we continue, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button so you can be with us next Monday night as we continue with our Mindful Nuggets podcast. Mr. William, where else would you like to take this tree tonight?
Well, everything's symbolic, because whatever is on the outside is first coming from the inside. And that's the way I like tied in, because it gives people a way to connect, because they can see the tree. We talked about this. Most people live by sight. They believe what they see. But it had to exist before it came into sight, correct? The tree wasn't there at some point, but it became so. Insight. So a lot of that is identity, what's in us, what's growing in us that we can't see, that's been growing for a long time, that could be harming us. Because, everybody would like to have fruit on their tree. They'd like to be able to enjoy the tree, like to be able to sit around the tree, have a great time, have family, and everything that comes along with that. But a lot of times we fall short, and our tree's barren, especially if we're forcing it to grow. And if we're trying to force more to grow, a lot of times we get it grown like that, and we force it that way. But guess what? Inside of you is hollow. What we consider being success, what we feel like on top of the world, you can ask many people have made it there. It's never enough. It's never fulfilling. It's depressing because I got here and there's nobody here to share it with me.
That happened many times.
A lot. It's a lot. I mean, we feel pressured to build it that way.
Mhm.
And there's no reason to build it that way. No way to build yourself that way. Because what I look at is now in discernment, what fruit comes from this? When I make a decision or I get into action, what fruit am I stewarding for this? And if it doesn't come up with the equation that brings any peace and joy in my life, it doesn't honor God, then it's a no-go. And so that pruning can occur when things come around, start growing or attached to me, that I can cut those loose on it. And I'm okay with that. I'm really okay. Before, I wanted to please people or make sure everything was okay, or I needed to do it a certain way. But today, after all that event, when I asked myself, what was this life for? It became a very serious question, because I almost lost it. For what?
Only you know that.
Well, the question is, everybody needs to ask that. Where are you in this moment? Do you feel peace? Do you feel joy? Do you feel love? Do you feel safe, in a sense that you're in harmony with what God meant for you to be in that state? Or are you feeling deterred, irritated, angry, frustrated, don't have any sleep, you don't rest? That's not peace. You got to ask yourself a serious question. Is that what you want out of your life? Because I guarantee you it's not meant for your life. That's not what God intended for you.
So how do we make the orchard? Where does that tree start multiplying? Where does the
why don't we
seed
start what's entrusted to us? God says he has plans for us, right?
That's what he says.
All right. And he's not here to harm us.
No.
He will test us to see if you're faithful or not. But we've been entrusted with ourselves. Why don't we start stripping away all the identities that we think we're supposed to have, the roles that we call identity? We're more than just parents. We're more than just engineers, doctors, or whatever. But when you go out and you talk to people, you say, hi, nice to meet you. And then they'll start, well, what do you do? They don't say, who are you? There's a lot of confusion out there. So I'm a very loving gentleman that has belief in God, that's faithful, and I belong to his kingdom. I'm an heir to the kingdom. And I start right there. He's gifted me with a lot of talents and abilities, but I'm not this doing person that is, I tend to this or do that. It's not who I am.
So then I have
I'm
a
a
question for you guys,
yeah, yes.
because I think it's really important, because we talk about, being in God, being not in God. If you're in, Christians and some of these spaces that we try to operate well, we have a good heart, we have a good mind,
Mm-hmm.
we're good people. How do you know when you're out of alignment?
Yeah, when you're out of alignment, you'll know it, because when you're out of alignment, you're serving yourself.
And you're in
Well, how do you know?
chaos.
How
You're
do you
in
know?
chaos. You're in chaos. You
What's in
don't know.
chaos?
Chaos is when you are doing, I'm going to give an example because I'm so good at this one. To recheck myself. So,
Hmm.
if my office is in disarray, that's chaos. Because if my office is in disarray, I'm out of alignment and I cannot function.
You're in confusion.
It's exactly, it's confusion, because where can I function when something is out of its place or its alignment, as we're talking about? But that's chaos. When you're heading out to work and you are, got a messy car and there's trash next to you, that's chaos. Okay. So you're not in alignment, and the body's telling you, it's speaking to you. Your mind is constantly rolling. You're not able to calm it down. You've got some palpitations in that chest that is causing that anxiety. Your skin is itchy and crawling. I mean, these are all things that the body is talking to you and saying, you're in chaos. And you
Uh,
need to come back to a place that you can find peace, that you can find that quiet moment and assess where that chaos is happening. And that was where my aha was. So crashing on that nursing floor and being told that, there was no more they could do for me. We're going to put you on hospice care. That was God telling me, okay, you've lived in chaos long enough. Are you ready now to step into some action and really listen to what I'm telling you? And it just, at that point, I realized, oh my gosh, my house was in chaos. My kids were in chaos. I was just doing and not being. My body had told me this entire time. My head, my ears, my chest, my gut, my legs, my back, it all spoke. But you know what? I needed to keep going because there's that I had to do what I needed to do. Not realizing, no, you don't. You get to do what you want to do.
you don't know, to answer your question, Tess, you don't know exactly you're out of alignment, like in that moment on it. And it really ends up,
I really want to challenge that.
okay, well, challenge it.
Because yes, Michelle is correct. Your life is chaos when you're out of alignment. You don't have control. You are gripping. But there are other signals that people do not want to look at or listen to that will tell you in that moment you'll know. Ding, 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 ding. I'm out of alignment. What do you think that is?
When it takes away your peace.
Okay, let's dig. Let's keep going. Okay,
Mhm.
yes. What does that mean when you're not in peace?
Well, peace brings the opposite. It brings irritation, frustration, anger, anything that is in a
So
different
now
room
we're
than
talking
peace.
emotions.
It is emotion, yes.
So I spent 16 hours a day in frustration, anger, fear,
Mhm.
anxiety, control. feeling lack, feeling not enough, feeling like I can't do this, I'm alone, blah, blah, blah. Those are all emotions talking to you. They're signals.
Mhm.
Yes, they are.
And when you ignore those signals, because who wants to deal with emotions? They're messy. They're not real. They don't mean anything. We don't need emotions. They don't help us make decisions. Contraire, mon frère.
Right.
Like
How many times have you
emotions
right.
are everything. And I teach this concept of emotions are energy in motion. If you're frustrated, you have emotion driving frustration and frustration and frustration and frustration, and you will continue frustration until you wake up and go, I'm frustrated. And you go, oh, what do I need? I'm frustrated. And if you don't acknowledge that you're frustrated, how does it go through you? It stays with you. You wake up with it, you go to bed with it. It's compound interest.
Oh, absolutely. And you spread it.
And you spread it. Energy in motion, emotion. This is like, thank you for letting me talk. I know that people are getting this awareness, but emotions are not a fun thing to talk about. No one wants to address emotions because they can flip and drive you nuts if you don't understand what they are, what they're contributing, how they're costing you, why it's creating the life of chaos, and where did it come from? Because how you feel is what you get every minute.
I can remember being in my car, travel nursing, just being so frustrated, so frustrated, so exhausted. And I can remember sitting at the wheel of my car wanting to cry. And I told myself, what's
Don't
crying
cry.
going to solve?
Yeah, don't cry.
Right? What's crying going to solve?
It's
But
a natural ability for this tree to
exactly,
express.
right.
And if you are not crying, there's sap that comes out of trees.
That's
I
right.
mean, we are constantly releasing pressure and we're fully unaware of how complex our body is talking to us. Like you said, that we can feel it in our body, we can see the chaos, but no one is looking at the unseen weight of emotions. And if
Right.
you want to discount them, it's costing your life.
It is. It is. It's eating you from
It's
the
eating you from the
inside
inside
out.
out.
Yes,
Unforgiveness,
Right.
right?
That's right.
yes.
Bitterness.
Yep.
It's like a cancer. It does.
No, but I mean, we all know this. Most people, we know this, but to really understand how it's affecting the body and it's actually stuck in the body, that's where when you start to use breath in your
Right.
nervous system and you start to hone
Release.
and train, then you're no longer afraid. I'm
Right.
telling you, I had 16 hours a day of shut down and can't do what I need to do because I'm just in so much anxiety about this and people pleasing and all these unseen things that I had no idea. And now addressing the nervous system 2 years into this, I mean, I thought I was strong. I prided myself in failing because I thought that was noble, or being poor was noble, or whatever the stories, right? Do you know I can like shift out of any of that alignment within 30 seconds?
So, what Tess is speaking upon tonight, if it's resonating with you, please put info in the chat and we will see to it that Tess gets your information so that she can connect with you.
Thank you
I
guys
think,
for
look, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times you maybe a little bit confusion here, but friction doesn't always mean misalignment. Friction is the emotion part that you're experiencing. Yeah.
good
And
point.
then,
Good point, William.
okay. All right. So,
Yes.
He's your
um,
systems man.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good point. We try to
but
judge emotions as good or bad, and
Right.
they're not. It's just telling you the
right.
state you're in.
Yes,
Right.
It's information.
That's right.
it is
So thanks for
exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yeah, well, thanks for pointing out that too, because really what this is, like as we discussed before, emotions are a messenger, they're a signal, and it's
It's
telling you something. What we're bad about doing is addressing it. Like you said, Tess, we let it. There's a verse that says, do not let your sun go down in your anger. And a lot of us do that. I get that.
We do that.
We carry.
We're human,
It's not
right?
just anger.
We're human. We're not going to
Right.
catch it every second of the
Yeah.
day. I mean, we're human.
Yeah,
Right.
and we carry that, and we learn to suppress it because we're taught to suppress it.
Exactly. Don't cry, like Michelle
Right.
mentioned.
So what, I mean, I was always taught, what does that solve?
Right.
And then when you start diving into how you have literally having cancer, I'm
Yes.
still eating myself alive from the inside out and not allowing those
Right.
emotions to happen and find out where they're coming from in order to stop the process and get into an alignment.
Bingo.
And
You didn't get curious.
and accessing the good, right? Now you can access the good because you've let go of the whatever it was holding
Yep.
you, gripping you.
Absolutely.
I don't know what you were going to say, William. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, I'm just saying that when a person awakens in a sense like that, then what happens is they come out of judgment into curiosity.
Right.
And that's one thing that happened to me. I got real curious. Why did I do this? What caused me to do this? How did I arrive here? What was the mechanisms that drove me to feel like I had to be this way? When I had a choice, and I always had a choice. I have a choice about everything.
Well, and
But
that's
I
what
allowed
makes you
that.
wonderful is that system space that you have gone down the rabbit hole of what's causing this and what's causing engineering mind, right?
Right.
Everything is connected to something, and that's a beautiful mind going down that trail.
Well, that's just as much as you open up spaces to allow this to be discovered. And that's a great talent because people need space. The way I see it, we were taught to get in the vehicle and drive as fast as we can to get to the destination. Don't stop for anything. Don't get off here because I don't want you to experience any of that. But when you get to the destination, we'll give you a golden carrot for getting there so fast. But the time you get there, you're so worn out, you can't do anything. And you're so frustrated,
we
you're
have
burnt
to
up.
choose between being the hare or the turtle, right?
Or the turtle, right?
I mean, which one? And some people
I
are
don't want to be
operating
either.
this and that,
And many people are very happy to get that golden carrot at the end, and they're thrilled about it. Just so everybody's aware here, there's
Yeah, so I
many
can wave my
people.
golden carrot. I got my golden
Right.
carrot.
I got
But
it. But what did
but
it cost you?
exactly. That's what I was going to say. How much that cost you of your life and what you gave up just to hold that carrot? Is that carrot now worth it? My answer is no.
But if you can live a life of letting things in, freely letting things in, freely letting things out, you won't care about what you lose or gain.
Exactly. Because you're living.
It's
You're truly
irrelevant
living.
when you're in your alignments and you're in your flow. You're not worried about what's happening outside of your losing or your gaining. You're being.
Absolutely. And that's where people lose sight. They're not in the being, they're in the doing. So when we do not stop and see that we're just constantly in the mechanics all day long in this mechanical robot process, right? And we're not in the being. We're
Well,
in
it's just you've
stress.
forgotten. You've forgotten who you are. And
Absolutely.
it's about remembering, it's about going back to who you are, what you know, before all the
Why don't you ask God,
circumstances hit you, right?
the person that told you or built you? He's really the only one that has the authority to tell you who you are. And we allow so many people to tell us what we are, and we believe it.
Think back to that baby. Think back to being that baby.
Go back to
to
that
being the
baby.
baby. Yeah. And how that baby had no fear. That
And that
baby
baby
had no
explored.
care.
That baby exhibited certain things that were the creation of that baby. That if you even look back at a tree, that's a maple tree, that's an oak tree, that's an ash tree, that whatever tree that you are meant to be it. Because you're trying to be something else, you're never going to be something else.
Well, it's an expression in the earth, and it starts in the ground. We don't see that. We don't see
No,
the
we can't see
process
it.
in the ground. But when it becomes an expression of the earth, that's what we're stewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's what's been entrusted to us. So are you the apple tree that's stewarding you?
You, right? Are you stewarding yourself? Trying to steward somebody else without stewarding yourself is asinine.
Agree.
Well, guys, we are 5 minutes till the hour. And if you would like to read a full version on why plant a tree when you can build an orchard, you can come over to Substack at Mindful Nuggets on Substack and read the entire blog. And maybe it will resonate with you a little further as you dive into that blog that Mr. William has been stewarding so well over there on Substack. So come and join us over there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here on YouTube so that you can join us next Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Miss Tess, would you please once again tell everyone where they can get in touch with you? Please make sure you put info in the comments if you would like to connect with Miss Tess. We'll see to it that that happens. But where can they connect if they would like to go directly, Tess?
You can find all of my experiences and ways to address the nervous system and be in communities and all that on tessbooker.com.
Oh,
Lovely.
awesome. Tess, we are
Yes,
so grateful that you were with us
we're
tonight.
see this is a three-stranded cord right here that you're witnessing. It's a very powerful thing that comes together when you wind something like this together. And we really appreciate you being part of that cord today, Tess.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So stay curious, stay discerning, faithfully steward what the Father has entrusted, and keep walking the road home. The lantern is lit, the fire is warm. Pull up a chair at the table. There's always room for one more. We'll continue this
Absolutely.
journey next time, Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. And William, it's going to come
Don't
back
blink because it'll
really
come back quick.
soon.